Hey guys, Predzilla here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to be discussing Godzilla vs. Kong 2. Since the last time we talked about Godzilla vs. Kong 2, we have had a lot more information, and obviously that's what we're going to be discussing about for today. So, we now have a plot synopsis for the film that we'll get into here in a second. But also I want to mention that I definitely had thought that this was going to be a Kong solo, and obviously the rumor of what this film was going to be was Son of Kong, which I don't think is going to be the case. I mean, they could still do Son of Kong in the film in some ways, but I don't think they will. I mean, they could also lead up to Son of Kong for the next film. But I did think this was going to be a Kong solo. I personally would have preferred for it to be a Kong solo. Not that I don't want to see any more Godzilla, but Godzilla has two solos. I thought it would be fair for Kong to have another solo. Also, it would give us a chance to see more of this Hollow Earth, which is what I would really want, to see more of the Hollow Earth and what kind of titans linger in the Hollow Earth. I would have liked more of that. I mean, obviously, we're going to be getting that in Godzilla vs. Kong 2, but I don't think we would be getting it as much as we would in a Kong solo. And I think it would work because I don't think Godzilla really cares about the Hollow Earth. So, I feel like anything to go down there, Godzilla would be like, me, I don't care, it's nothing up here. But the plot synopsis, the important parts of it, what I've gathered, says the almighty Kong and the fearsome Godzilla are facing up against a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very own existence. And notice how it says Godzilla and Kong, which is, why I said and. When the first time I read it, weird. Because obviously Godzilla and Kong will not be fighting in this film. They might have some sort of conflict. Maybe they're bigger, which would actually be pretty funny. But I do not think they will be fighting. If they do, I think it'd be stupid to have them fight again. Which is also why I don't think this is going to be called Godzilla vs. Kong 2. I'm not sure what they'll call it. Maybe they'll call it Godzilla and Kong. I mean, they could call it Godzilla vs. Kong 2, but that would be really no reason to call it that because it's going to have a huge lack of Godzilla vs. Kong. So there would really be no point of calling it Godzilla vs. Kong 2. But the plot synopsis also mentions learning more about the Titans' origins and all that kinds of stuff, so that'll also be pretty interesting. But this part of the plot synopsis was most interesting to me because it gives us a tease of what this new big bad of the film will be. And I want to go over a few theories and ideas of what I have for what this new threat will be. And let me know your thoughts in the comments down below of what you think this new threat is going to be. First is, will it be something new? And that for me is preferred. I would prefer them to do something new. And it's not that I don't like them bringing back classic Toho monsters as King Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla, but I would also like to see new Titans. But if it's not anything new, then I do think they will bring Bylante into the Monsterverse, which is highly possible because at the end of King of the Monsters, when they did all the news articles, things and the end credits and all that kinds of stuff, they did mention that, I can't remember who it was, I think they said it was Monarch that was doing it, that they were trying to mutate Titans, or maybe it was a different company, or maybe they just said scientists were trying to do it. I don't remember, but but I think they said Monarch was trying to do it. That they were trying to make hybridized or like mutated Titans, so that could heavily point towards Bylante. Also, I feel like Bylante would work very well for having Godzilla on the surface and Kong and the Hollow Earth, because I do believe that is what they're going to do. They're going to have Godzilla fighting on the surface while Kong is fighting in the Hollow Earth, which is really cool, and I think they can use Bylante to do that. Like, say, on the surface, Godzilla is fighting the rose form of Bylante, while in the Hollow Earth, Kong is fighting, like, a crap ton of Bylante vines, because obviously Kong doesn't have any special abilities like atomic breath and gravity beams and, you know, all sorts of things. I mean, unless they decide to add Kong having electricity hands, which they could do. But at the moment, Kong doesn't have any special abilities, and the best he's got is his strength, his smarts, and the axe. Which, I don't even know if he's going to use the axe. I would assume he would, but at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, he dropped the axe, so I don't know if that means like he's not going to use it anymore. So it's like, you know, it's cool, Godzilla, I won't use it anymore. But I imagine he probably will. And that could also be a thing where that they kind of conflict over of, like, maybe if Godzilla and Kong meet up for the final battle, Godzilla's like, hey, you have that axe. It's disrespectful. And Kong's like, I know, but I need it. They could do something like that. Like, Godzilla gets mad about it. But that's also another thing. I would imagine that they're going to have, at the end of the film, Godzilla and Kong come together for the final fight to fight whatever it is, whether it be something new or Bylante, which honestly is kind of cheesy, but I guess that could work. But another idea that I had that they could do for Bylante is have Bylante fighting Godzilla on the surface, while also Bylante is fighting Kong in the Hollow Earth. And I know I technically just said that with my last idea with, you know, the vines, but what I mean by that is, like, there being two forms of Rose Bylante, one on surface and one in the Hollow Earth, and then maybe like around the end of the film it like comes together to form the final form, or maybe they could even be more than two, so there isn't like, oh, there's conveniently two, and there's two conveniently, you know, Alpha Titans that can protect us. Maybe there's like a third one that Monarch has to deal with themselves. That could be something, and we could see Monarch in action, and, you know, have them, or maybe they'll reveal that they've built Mogira or Jet Jaguar or something, which I feel like a lot of people wouldn't like that, so I don't think they would do that. But that's also another idea that they could do, which I think would be pretty cool. But my last idea that I have for Bylante is, what if Bylante could mess with Godzilla's king status? Because if they do bring Bylante, and they do Bylante's origin similar to the Toho origin of Bylante, and Bylante is technically a clone of Godzilla, then maybe they could have, like, Bylante can mimic Godzilla's alpha call and manipulate the other Titans into doing things, because they wouldn't know which is the actual Godzilla, so they don't know who to listen to, and that could mess with a lot of things. So I think that would be a pretty cool idea that they could work with. But I don't know, that's just me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about any of that. But two more theories and ideas, or whatever, that I think could happen for the new threat is, one, the threat could be Space Godzilla, though I think it's very unlikely, because we do have that concept art of, you know, the winged Godzilla fighting the Kongs and the Godzillas, and, you know, everyone has theorized that that is Space Godzilla. They could do something with that, I guess. I do not think they will, but, I mean, if they do, then I'm not really going to be too upset about it. I know there is a significant amount of people that do not want Space Godzilla in the MonsterVerse. I don't know if I recall seeing anyone saying that they do want Space Godzilla in the MonsterVerse, but I would assume at least someone does. But the reason why I don't think this is Space Godzilla is because it says a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world. So I feel like that hints more towards Bylante or something new. Less of Bylante because it says hidden within our world, like it's been here like the entire time. So maybe it isn't Bylante, unless they decide to do Bylante was like a part of the world forever. Maybe they could like change their origins and like something happens and she like evolves or something and then becomes this huge threat. But the last theory of what the threat could be is probably more likely than Space Godzilla, but the one I pray that they do not do is Destroya. So it's obvious that they have teased that Destroya could be a big bad in the MonsterVerse since they have the Oxygen Destroyer, but I do not want Destroya to be in this film. I want Destroya to be the final boss of the MonsterVerse, like the super big bad, which unless this film is supposed to be like the end of the MonsterVerse, which I doubt, then they could use it here, but I hope that they save it for later on in the MonsterVerse for the actual final of the MonsterVerse. But also it was revealed that Kaylee Huddle, I believe is her name, is returning to play Gia in Godzilla vs. Kong, which is very exciting. But also, Brian Henry Tyrese is returning to play as Bernie, which is very exciting. And then Rebecca Hall is returning to play as, what's her name? I think her name is Dr. Lin, or something like that. Is returning to play as her character, aka Gia's adopted mom. So, that's cool too, I guess. But I'm excited to see more of Gia and more of Bernie. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.